Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Bux. Let's get real. You've tried everything. It was hard, wasn't it? Rejecting your own life, pushing aside your priorities just for them. You've bent over backward to make them see your worth, to make them miss you, to show them how much you care. You were there always, on call, always accommodating, always the one who dropped everything in a heartbeat. You were kind. You were there at their beck and call, always the one to step up, never the one to say no. But what have they done to you? They treated you like a doormat, walked all over you as if you didn't matter. They rejected you, disrespected you, took every bit of care you gave and tossed it aside like yesterday's news. You tried to talk it out. You tried to reason. Heck, maybe you even begged, just hoping for a scrap of acknowledgement. You were nice, kind. And you gave them all. You could. You felt the sting of rejection again and again, and the harder you tried, the more invisible you felt. It's like they were too blind to see your value. You were too comfortable with your presence and too careless with your heart. But nothing worked. Not a single thing. You've exhausted all your options except one, the last and most powerful card you can play: silence. You've vanished from their sight. No more texts lighting up their phone, no more calls, no more simply checking in. The silence my friend is about to bestow upon you is more potent than any words could ever convey. It carries more weight than any words you could utter. Your silence is suffocating them. They may put on a brave front in public, pretending that everything is the same without you. But behind closed doors, they are crying and reaching out, and their pride is keeping them trapped in that silent regret. The realization that they've lost something they'll never replace haunts them. In private, it's all smiles, but in public, it's nothing but darkness and the crushing weight of what they threw away in this moment, feeling the regret but wearing a mask. Say it with conviction: silence is my superpower. Trust me, it is a superpower. Just stay with me for a moment, and I will demonstrate its power. Before we begin, let's engage in a brief and enjoyable activity. Click the like button if our lessons are truly changing your life, and leave today's affirmation in the comments. Epictetus, our wise friend, once advised, "First, envision your ideal self, then take action. Embrace this moment without hesitation." It's your life, and you own this power, so why not make it clear? Silence is my superpower. This matters, people. For once, just put it in writing. Silence is my greatest strength. In the next few minutes, I'll demonstrate how this silence changes the entire dynamic, so let's claim it and stay put. It flips the situation, leaves them perplexed, and compels them to face the emptiness they experience when you're not around to support their ego. Are you prepared to witness the powerful impact of silence? Let's delve into the powerful impact of silence. Before we delve into their situation and what awaits them when they choose silence over disrespect, let's address another issue that may be weighing heavily on your mind. Let's address something else that might already be eating away at you. I know you love them a lot despite the disrespect, despite them rejecting you like an old habit they think they can just shake off. And because of that love, you're afraid that if you stay silent too long, they'll just forget about you. I can see some of you nodding your head right now, thinking, what if they move on? That fear, I know, feels like it's tearing you apart. But here's what I want you to understand. They're not going anywhere. You might see them wearing that mask, putting on that show that says, "I'm fine," like your silence doesn't faze them. But believe me, that's just a front behind that mask. There's a whole storm brewing. They're feeling the absence of your presence every single day. Even if they pretend not to care, your silence has already sunk in deeper than any words you could have thrown at them. And here's the truth: if they can't see your worth now in this silence, then let's be real. They never valued it in the first place. And do you really want someone in your life who needs constant reminding to see your value? You deserve better than someone who only realizes what they have when they're about to lose it. This silence is a test, folks, a moment of clarity for them and for you, because if they're too blind to feel your worth even in your absence, then it's clear they're not someone who deserves your love, attention, or energy, and that's a powerful truth to embrace. So hold strong, and let's dive into what's coming next for them, because trust me, they're already feeling the impact, and if you haven't pressed that like button yet, now's probably the perf time. It helps push this video to more people like you who are looking for guidance, and honestly, there's nothing better than giving others a hand when they need it, most ready to. Dive deep into their world of regret and realization. Let's go. Number 1, realization that you're gone. So here we are, people in the initial phase of their journey, when they come to terms with your absence, should not undervalue the significance of this moment. Maybe keep up appearances. They're pretending everything's fine, but deep down they're starting to feel it. That familiar warmth, the presence they took for granted, has slipped out of their reach. Now, in the quiet, they're realizing they can no longer just reach out and pull you back like they once could. This is where we typically make a big mistake. Most of us experience a pang of sympathy or uncertainty at this point, and we begin to wonder if we should check in or let them know we're here. Then, under pressure, we break down and reach out, giving away the silence we've worked so hard to create. However, let's be clear, every time you break the silence, you break the power of your absence. This isn't a time for check-ins or for making them feel safe again with your presence. Silence is about letting them sit with their own thoughts, mistakes, and emptiness. Another mistake some of us make is to believe that our only duty at this point is to sit in our rooms and watch our phones, wondering when they'll wake up and realize what they've lost. However, let me tell you that silence isn't about putting pressure on your life. Waiting for them to notice your absence and remaining silent allows you to redirect your energy towards yourself, propelling you forward in life and enhancing your strength, resilience, and sharpness. Consider this a chance to change and become someone who actively develops despite their absence, rather than passively waiting around. Let's take a closer look. What if they love you? What if this absence wakes them up and they realize how valuable you are? Imagine that if they truly care, your absence will have a greater impact on them than anything else. They will feel a pull and an unavoidable urge to fill the void you left, and that's when real change occurs. However, what if they don't love you? Sometimes silence shines a light on what's real and what's just smoke. Instead of making someone value you, you're testing their silence. Feel your absence and acknowledge their possessions. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "If you want a true friend, break away from the ones who would not grieve to lose you." If they don't feel the need to reach out for you, it could be a sign that they weren't deserving of your energy. In any case, you win by discovering who deserves your time, love, and commitment. Picture yourself standing tall and facing forward, not looking back. You are creating a life for yourself that is filled with strength and growth, independent of the attention of others. As you go forward, the universe will find the right people to notice you. If they're the right person, they'll catch up, but if not, you're better off walking away and never looking back. Here's an affirmation to remind you of the strength you're gaining at this stage. I prioritize my own well-being over their attention. I take control of my own path. My quietness serves as my power. If necessary, document it, make it your own, and remain by my side as this journey is just beginning. Right now, we can't tell if they truly love you or if they will return. This silence is just the beginning of revealing those answers. We're just beginning, and the answers will arrive in due course. Each step forward is a step toward clarity, and trust me, you're about to see the power that silence holds over those who underestimated you. Don't rush or assume anything. Rather, let the silence do its work, and let them feel the weight of your absence. There are still more stages in this journey where the truth will reveal itself and their true feelings will come to the surface. The second stage involves them donning a mask of indifference. As this stage approaches, they will act as if nothing is wrong, putting on a mask of indifference that can lead you to question everything despite their seemingly calm demeanor. This mask of indifference can make you wonder if your silence is making a difference at all, or worse, if you meant anything to them in the first place. To be clear, this mask of indifference often serves as the initial barrier. Posting on social media with friends, laughing, or even discussing how much better they're doing is all a facade, but trust me, this can be the most confusing and painful part of the journey for you. People put up a front when they feel like they're losing control. Think of it like a game of poker. They're bluffing, pretending that your silence is just background noise to keep their sense of control. Here, many of us fall into a trap, thinking that your silence is getting under their skin despite their best efforts to deny it. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him." In this situation, your absence is exposing a part of themselves that they're not prepared to confront. Rather than confronting this, they choose to hide behind a mask, feigning indifference to shield their ego. Imagine their indifference as a shield to obscure their emotions. They hope that by acting like you don't care, you'll reach out and reintegrate on their terms. The situation resembles a struggle as they stubbornly resist, losing their balance and descending into silence. The moment you break your silence, you give them what they want: control. Your silence is working, but only if you let it do its job. The moment you intervene, even if it's just to ensure their well-being, you relinquish control to them. Imagine it as a silent storm accumulating pressure. They may be out there going about their lives as if nothing's changed, but inside they're feeling deeply the pain of your absence, despite their best efforts to hide it. The emptiness settles in. The mask is a desperate attempt to convince themselves they don't need you and that they can go on without you, but deep down they're starting to feel hollow. It's like they're trying to cover a deep wound with a band-aid, hoping it'll heal on its own. This phase is also where your strength is tested. It's easy to think your only job is to wait in silence, but no, there's more to it than that. Your silence is powerful, yes, but it becomes unstoppable when combined with action. Instead of sitting around waiting for them to notice, focus on yourself. Imagine it like forging steel each day. You work on yourself. You're strengthening the person you're becoming, and that's something they can't ignore. What if they love you? If there's real love behind that mask, your silence will bring it out. Drawing out emotions they can't hide forever. When they see you growing, not breaking, they'll start feeling the sting of what they're losing. That mask of indifference will start to feel heavy, uncomfortable, because they're suppressing their real feelings. They'll feel a pull, an ache, something they can't ignore, as your silence becomes the loudest reminder of their own emptiness. But what if they don't love you? What if there's no emotion behind that mask? Then this silence is a gift to yourself, a way of revealing a truth. You need to see the last thing you want is to pour energy into someone who doesn't truly care. If they're truly indifferent, then you know where you stand, and that clarity is worth more than anything else. As Marcus Aurelius once said, it is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. If they're unmoved by your absence, let that judgment guide you to let go fully without looking back. So here's the truth. Whether they're hiding real feelings or genuinely indifferent, your job is to stay focused on yourself. Don't let their mask throw you off. Keep building, keep growing, and let them sit with their own discomfort. If they miss you, they'll come back on their own. If they don't, then they've freed up space in your life for someone who truly values you. You affirm to yourself, I am unshaken by their indifference. I am building my own strength and worth. Say it out loud. Remind yourself of it every time. Doubt, If you think this mask of indifference will last forever, think again. We will be removing additional layers, and eventually, the truth will reveal itself in ways that even they cannot conceal. Hold on tight. There's a lot more to come. This is your opportunity to demonstrate that you are not a victim of their games or their masks. Every day you're becoming stronger, sharper, and more resilient. So stay with me as the journey continues to intensify, battling uncertainty. I'm always available to help you through this, so please feel free to join me in the comments if you're confused or have a question. If you have nothing specific to say, just leave a brief note in the comments. It will let me know that you're here and dedicated to this journey, and it keeps the conversation going for everyone. Number 3. Who is struggling with regret? They initially tried to disguise their feelings by playing it cool, but now that we're getting to a point where they can't escape the weight of regret, your silence is beginning to hit them like a powerful tsunami. The emptiness, the void you left behind, and regret is creeping in like an uninvited guest they can't ignore in this stage. They'll replay every moment, every chance they had to treat you better, to show appreciation, to keep you close. It's like they're standing on the edge of a cliff looking back over everything they took for granted. They're haunted by what they chose to ignore, realizing that each thoughtless action, each moment of disrespect, is now costing them something. They didn't think they'd lose you, as the great philosopher Seneca said. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Right now, they're feeling the end of what they had with you, and it's sinking in deeply. They might not say it out loud, but trust me, they're feeling that weight. It's not just loneliness, it's the sting of knowing they had something real, something valuable, and they let it slip away. Imagine regret like a shadow following them, always just a step behind, creeping closer the longer you stay silent. This isn't just about missing you. It's about realizing they made a choice, whether consciously or not, to push you away. And now, without your presence, without the safety net of knowing you're there, they're forced to face the truth. They undervalued someone they should have cherished. This is where most people will try to push regret away. They might keep up their social front, still acting unaffected, but it's a mask they can't wear forever inside. That regret is like a quiet storm, growing stronger with each memory, each reminder of what they lost. And they know they can't just undo this. The ball is no longer in their court. It's up to you now. They're no longer in control. And that helplessness is part of the regret they're feeling so intensely. If they truly care, this regret will start to weigh them down, leading them to moments of self-reflection and humility. But if they don't, that's a different story, because at least now you're seeing their true colors. Remember for a minute that I am more valuable than their remorse. I choose myself over anyone's temporary feelings. Say it out loud if you need to let it sink in. You're not here to wait around for someone to figure out your worth. Their regret is theirs to carry, and your strength is yours to grow. Stay with me, because this journey is far from over. Regret is only the beginning of what they'll feel as they face the full impact of losing someone they never expected would leave. So hold tight, there's more truth yet to be revealed. Number 4, trying to replace you with someone new. At this stage, they're beginning to realize the impact of your absence. But instead of confronting their own actions, they might take a shortcut. They start looking for someone new, hoping to fill the gap you left with a replacement. This stage can sting for you, watching them jump into a new relationship or fill their time with others, as if they can simply replace the connection you shared. But don't be fooled. This is an escape, not a solution picture. It's like trying to put a bandage over a deep wound. They're hoping that by spending time with someone new, they'll avoid facing the regret, the emptiness, and the reality that you're no longer there. This isn't about moving on, it's about distraction. They're using the presence of someone else to mask the absence they feel with you gone, And while it might seem like they're happier or that they're unaffected, remember, new people aren't a cure for what they're running from. This attempt to replace you is often more of a coping mechanism than a real connection. When we lose something valuable, sometimes the first reaction is to find a substitute, something that fills the space without requiring any real growth or change. According to philosopher Alan Debon, it's like trying to fill up the gap with something that doesn't quite fit a broken piece of a puzzle, but they know deep down that this isn't the solution. People only become intriguing when they start to rattle the bars of their cage instead of breaking free from their own limitations. They find themselves trapped. Breaking free of their own limitations, they're staying inside that cage, hoping a new face will distract them from the truth. But that's all it is, a distraction. They might post on social media. They go out with friends and flaunt their new connections, hoping to convince themselves and others that they've moved on. It's all part of the show. They are putting on a mask to prevent themselves from feeling the real sting of your absence. And while it may seem convincing at first, the truth is that you can't replace something real with something temporary. They are attempting to fill a gap that only self-reflection and growth can truly heal. Seeing them with new people can make you question your own worth. You might start wondering if they ever cared at all, or if it's that easy for them to replace you. But remember, this isn't about you. It's about their inability to sit with discomfort. A new connection might look like a replacement, but it's often a placeholder, something to fill time and keep emotions at bay. And if they don't come to this realization on their own, it only tells you one thing: they were never capable of valuing you fully in the first place. Keep this affirmation close. Their actions don't define your worth. Rather, they reveal the truth of who they are and what they're willing to settle for. If they're running to new people, they're afraid of silence more than growth or understanding what they lost. Keep in mind that not everyone has the courage to face their own mistakes. Some people would rather hide behind the comfort of a new connection than confront the reality of losing someone irreplaceable. So stay with me, because the journey continues, and as they move from distraction to real understanding, the layers of truth will only get deeper. Hold tight. This is far from over. Number 5, when their world starts falling apart. Now we've reached the stage where their world truly begins to crumble. At first they tried to act unaffected, putting on a mask of indifference. Then they attempted to distract themselves with new people, hoping to fill the void left by your absence. But there's no escaping it anymore. Their life is starting to unravel. See, when you were around, you were their constant, their safety net. Whether they realized it or not, you brought a stability they counted on, even if they took it for granted. But now, without that foundation, cracks are starting to show they may have thought they could continue life as usual. But slowly and surely, things are beginning to fall apart. It's as if they're trying to hold water in their hands, but no matter how tightly they squeeze it, slips away. As the ancient Stoic Epicus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. They're beginning to feel the weight of their own wants and desires, realizing that no possession, no temporary fling, no distraction can replace the sense of security and depth you brought into their life. This isn't just about losing you, it's about losing the balance and stability you provided. Think of it like a house of cards. They've been stacking up distractions, false confidence and avoidance tactics, but without your presence as the foundation, it's all coming down the beginning to see the consequences of their choices, and it's starting. Small things that were once simple now feel overwhelming, and they can't pinpoint why. However, you know the reason. You were the one who grounded them. Now, they're floating aimlessly, feeling the chaos they've created. They're restless and unfocused, missing that inner calm they once found in your presence. Your presence. People often enter this stage, unable to shake off a sense of loss. Their usual distractions and routines no longer function as they once did, forcing them to confront an uncomfortable truth. They're struggling because they've lost someone who truly mattered, but this unraveling is necessary. Sometimes people have to experience the absence of something valuable to realize how much they leaned on it. This serves as their defining moment, when the facade begins to crumble, leaving them to grapple with the consequences of their own decisions. It's straightforward to sympathize at this point, or even want to jump in and help, but keep in mind that this is their journey, not yours. They need to experience the impact of losing you in order to face the reality of their actions without your support as a crutch. They're beginning to realize that the world they created without considering you was never as stable as they believed. So hold on tight and remind yourself that I am the stability they lost, but my strength is mine. Let this affirmation ground you as their world collapses. It's a testament to the impact you had and to the reality they created for themselves. Continue with me, because as their world falls apart, the truth will become clearer. We're just getting to the core. At this juncture, the distractions are diminishing. The new connections feel hollow, and they find themselves amidst a silence that resembles a void where they once sensed your presence. They begin to grapple as the masks, pretenses, and quick fixes vanish, leaving them alone with nothing but the echo of their choices and the silent reminder of what they've lost. This is the stage where they begin to feel an ache that words can't quite describe. It's a hollow, gaping feeling, a void they can't fill, and for the first time, they have to face the reality of your absence without any kind of buffer or diversion. Though the philosopher Lao once stated that silence is a source of immense strength, your silence has now become their weakness and struggle. The emptiness persists. Picture yourself lost in a desert, aimlessly searching for a glimmer of solace, a sliver of comfort, or anything to slake this aching emptiness. However, in this silence, there is nothing but the realization that they have lost someone irreplaceable, and no matter how they try to move forward, they keep returning to the same barren space, feeling the weight of your absence pressed down on them. They used to take your presence for granted. You were always there for them, but now it's a haunting absence, a reminder that they lost something rare and valuable. The void is a unique kind of pain. It's not loud or dramatic, it's a quiet. The pain is a relentless ache that intensifies over time, despite their attempts to mask it with distractions. At this point, the silence permeates every aspect of their life. They feel it when they wake up alone with their thoughts. They feel it when they go through their day unable to reach out to you like they once could. They feel it when they lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling with no messages, no reminders of your care. This is the empty space they once took for granted. This silence will also reveal the truth if they didn't truly value you, because if they can pass through this void unaffected, you know they were never as invested as you were. In any case, this silence will reveal what's real. It's a mirror showing them the reality of their choices without anyone there to shield them from the consequences. If they ever cared, this silent void will make them realize they've lost something they'll never find again in anyone else. Keep in mind that my silence is a testament to my worth and strength. Let it serve as a reminder that your silence is not a sign of weakness, but rather a strong decision to respect yourself enough to stand back and allow them to face what they have created. Stay with me, because as they struggle in this void, clarity will only grow. This is the final stage, the moment of reckoning, when they either break down or break through. After all the masks, distractions, and attempts to fill the void, they've reached a point where they can no longer ignore the truth. At this juncture, individuals must decide whether to confront their losses, accept accountability for their actions, and undergo personal growth, or continue to live in denial, allowing regret to consume them indefinitely. We're approaching a critical juncture where the truth will emerge in such a way that even they will be compelled to confront the silence and emptiness, ultimately leading to the moment when they must face what they have lost, the loneliness and the regret. It's a slow, quiet unraveling that can consume them if they're unwilling to face the reality of their own choices. The silence overwhelms them, and instead of progressing, they spiral due to a mixture of guilt and loss, feeling as if they've lost an irreplaceable opportunity. The pain they once believed to be temporary now feels permanent, and every attempt to divert themselves only makes it worse. Others, on the other hand, might decide to take a different route. They begin to perceive your absence as both an awakening and a bereavement. They have a flash of insight when they realize they've been given the chance to face the aspects of themselves that caused this. If they possess the courage, they begin to overcome their mistakes, and for the first time, they may even learn from them. Think of this phase as a pivotal moment in their lives. They have the option to undergo a metamorphosis akin to that of iron forged in fire, or to remain silent as they succumb to regret and anger. This moment can change them into a better person who finally appreciates what they have, but it takes courage and humility that not everyone has. Marcus Aurelius's Stoic words resonate deeply in this situation. The thing that prevents them from moving forward is their silence, which forces them to either change or stay the same. Success comes from allowing yourself to learn. Failure comes from not being able to handle the challenge. And here's the beauty of this stage. Regardless of the route they take, you are no longer responsible for their journey. Their growth, or lack thereof, is no longer your responsibility because you took the courageous decision to walk away and give them space to face themselves. You have done your part, and now it is their choice. If they grow, they may return with respect or an apology, but this journey was about you regaining your strength as much as them admitting their mistakes. For this last step, leave a brief comment in the comments. You now have the freedom to embrace your own power and move past their journey. You are letting go of any expectations or hopes that they will suddenly change. As we finish this journey, remember that every action you took was about regaining strength and setting boundaries that reflect your value. You have matured and changed, and you are now free to move on. Regardless of whether they recognize what they've lost, you've gained something much more worthwhile: clarity, self-assurance, and autonomy. If this video spoke to you, please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with those who should hear this message. This road wasn't easy, but look at the power you discovered within yourself. Now is the time to look forward. Let's continue to spread the message of resilience and self-worth. Before you leave a comment below, letting us know if you're open to a new relationship or if you're enjoying your independence at the moment. Remember that you've come a long way, and that this is only the beginning of your glorious freedom and fulfillment.